How's it going, guys? It's Andrew from Freshly Charged, along here with my main man Dalton. We're in here in front of the Bronco Stadium checking out a brand new electric bike called the Lectric Xpress. What's really interesting about this bike is I kind of already knew it was in the works. When I went to the Lectric One release, they asked me what did I think the bike that was going to be released, and I pretty much said that this would be it. And lo and behold, it's here just 1 month later. This bike is a great commuter bike, but let's go ahead and do a really quick walkthrough and tell you what it's all about. It's got the brand new color display that we saw in the Lectric One. I'm super glad that Lectric has finally adopted color because it's 2024, and that previous display, that was stuck in the 80s. You have hydraulic brake levers, same similar grips that you see on the Lectric XP, big oversized light, 7-speed Shimano thumb shifter, and you have the thumb throttle on the right side. So they've kind of started to move away from that half twist throttle that you saw on most of their e-bikes in the past, and they're adopting thumb throttles. The verdict's out for me. I like them both. It just depends on what type of riding you do the most. Moving down the front, you have 80 millimeters of coil suspension. You can lock it out and adjust the preload. They call it the TC80, 80 for the 80 millimeters of travel, and TC for Twin Cities, of where the owners of Lectric are from. Plastic fenders, 27.5 by 2.5 inch tires, 180 millimeter brake disc with 2-piston hydraulic brakes. I do like that they put a nice beefy through axle bolt in the front tire. A lot of the times these budget e-bikes are using a really thin through axle, and it doesn't really instill confidence. Moving to the center, we have the battery compartment, which is hidden inside of here. On the 750 watt version, this is a 48 volt 14 amp hour battery. On the 500 watt version, this is a 48 volt 10.4 amp hour battery. They're all UL rated, which is great for fire safety. You have the same quick release pedals that you saw on the XP. These go in and out real quick and easy. And one sweet thing is this is the first bike of Lectric that actually has a torque sensor with the hub motor. One of the best things about torque sensors is it goes based off of your pressure, where cadence sensors is based off of how many times you pedal, not off of pressure. Torque sensors are a lot more sensitive and make you feel like you have superhuman powers when riding an e-bike. If you adjust the P11 setting, you can actually get 20% more power out of the motor, which makes this thing super zippy. Quick release for the rear motor cable for easier tire changes, beefy kickstand, rear rack that is attached to the bike with a 60-pound weight capacity. Attached to that is a light that only turns on when the front light is on. It does not act as a brake light. Another plastic fender, 27.5 by 2.5 inch tires, 180 millimeter brake disc, and our version that we have testing today is a 750 watt motor with a peak output of 1,310 watts. The 500 watt motor version has a peak output of 1,092 watts. On this side, 11 by 28 tooth Shimano 7-speed cassette with the Shimano turning derailleur. And that's pretty much this bike in a nutshell. Dalton's been ripping around downtown Denver with this. Let's get his first impressions of the Lectric Xpress.
I like it a lot so far. It's got a lot of power in the throttle. Brakes work great. The suspension has been awesome. I've been hitting potholes. I've been riding around every single street of downtown Denver, and I'm loving it so far. So let's ride to our next stop and talk about what we like about this bike.
All right, we're gonna do a brake test. Dalton's gonna go to 20 miles per hour and then slam on the brakes. Whoa, that was pretty good.
Not bad, dude. I'm impressed.
He stopped really fast. I was actually surprised because he was hauling pretty quick.
Yeah, I was going like 22 miles per hour, and that actually surprised me how fast it stopped.
Yeah, that is a nice candid reaction. Look at that cheese ball and smile. So we're going to talk about what we love about the Lectric Xpress. For me, the one thing is I love the color display. It's really crisp, a lot better than the black and white display that we've seen on previous Lectric e-bikes. And then my second favorite thing is the torque sensor. What do you got, Dalton?
I really like the suspension that they have on this, 80 millimeters of travel. It works perfectly for somebody my size. I also really like that the pedals are metal. It's definitely a nice touch because plastic pedals can tend to break or wear over time. These seem pretty solid.
And they're nice and grippy. One of my favorite things about those metal pedals is they have big spikes, so you don't feel your feet slipping off when you go to pedal, especially in like wet conditions. And speaking about the torque sensor, I love that it goes up to 28 miles per hour. A lot of these bikes, they only allow you to go up to 20 miles per hour. One of the best things about this bike is the price. Lectric always comes in a budget-friendly price. This is only $12.99, and with their launch special, you can get a free battery with it, which is almost like a $600 value, so pretty sweet deal. And if you want to buy the 500 watt motor version, it's only $9.99.
Yeah, I also really like that it has hydraulic brakes. It's a nice touch. They work super well. I've had no problem stopping at all.
Yeah, hydraulic brakes are essential for me. They just offer premium stopping power compared to mechanical disc brakes. I love that Lectric always sends their bikes as complete packages. This comes with fenders, it comes with a light, comes with a rear rack, so you're not having to pay for all those upgrades. Where some bikes, they sell you a budget e-bike and then try to upgrade and sell you all the extra components.
I also really like how the battery is integrated within the frame. It looks super sleek, almost like a regular bike. And then you can just pop the key in here and the battery pops out. Super easy to swap out. So if you want another battery, if it's running low and you want to charge charge one while you put the other in. It's very easy and simple.
And I also like that Lectric has some really cool accessories. This bike lock that fits into the water bottle holder, genius. In downtown Denver, I wouldn't really depend on this to not get cut, but it is a sweet idea, so kudos to them for offering really cool accessories. One thing that I do like is Lectric has implemented quick disconnects for all their components for easy maintenance in case you ever run into some issues. And then the tires actually have a really good soft compound, so combine that with the hydraulic brakes, you can stop really fast. And really the best part that you have with Lectric is they have customer service based in the US. They're all based out of Phoenix, Arizona. You're not calling over to the Philippines where there's a language barrier, and they make all their workers take apart a bike, put it together, and they own 2 bikes each. So they actually have knowledge of the bike and how to take them apart and how to fix them.
I also like the seat a lot. It's super plush and comfortable. It's made a nice ride on the sidewalks and the streets. At our next stop, we're gonna talk about what we don't like about this thing.
So yeah, we're gonna talk about things that we don't like about the Lectric Xpress. For me, one of the biggest things that I don't like about it is the front light. They make it look nice and oversized, but it's pretty awful and terrible for night riding. So if you're gonna do some night riding, you definitely want to get a handlebar light.
I think the welds are kind of chunky. It's more of an industrial weld, which is something that isn't a huge deal for a lot of people, but personally, I'm a little picky about. I also wish that the display, when you're in pedal assist level 0, it would still let you use the throttle. Sometimes I wanna ride the bike like a regular bike, but still have that throttle if I need it to go up a hill.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's one of the biggest annoyances that I have with e-bike companies. It's probably like a safety regulation that people are putting them on there right now, but I would like to be able to use the throttle without having any pedal assist levels on. The other thing for me is Dalton likes the suspension because he's about 150 pounds, me weighing about 200 to 220 depending on the season. The front suspension is pretty easy for me to bottom out with because it's coil suspension, so I would have preferred hydraulic suspension, but at a budget-friendly price of $9.99 or $12.99, I understand of why they put coil suspension on it.
I also wish there were metal fenders instead of plastic. I prefer metal over plastic.
Yeah, and that's interesting because the Lectric XP 3.0 has metal fenders and comes in at a more budget-friendly price, so surprising that they didn't put metal fenders on here, but it's understandable because it's a budget-friendly bike. The rear light, I'm not sure why they don't have the rear light act as a brake light as well instead of just working when the lights are on. The Lectric One does that, but all the other Lectric bikes don't act as a brake light, which is so weird for me because it's already wired to the tail light. And one thing about Lectric is they always use Shimano tourney derailleurs. It's by far the cheapest derailleur that Shimano offers, so I wish that they would just upgrade it to a Serra or Altus. You can buy one for like $30 to $40 and install it yourself, but if you have to pay for someone to install it, it costs you about $75 to $100. I do love the big through axle bolt in the front, but it can be a little bit finicky. It's not as easy as some other through axle bolts that I've used in the past, so just understand that it's going to take you a little bit of time to kind of learn and figure out how it operates. But overall, a pretty sweet bike at a budget-friendly price. We're going to go for a ride and tell you, should you buy the Lectric Xpress? Okay, Dalton, who should buy the Lectric Xpress?
I think you should buy the Lectric Xpress if you live in a city or on a college campus and you're looking for an affordable, good quality e-bike from a company that you can trust.
Check out our full review at freshlycharged.com and make sure when you ride, wear your safety gear.